T-minus 40 seconds to the dumpster. Okay, we're at the dumpster. Oh, looky! A TV! I'm gonna take that home. Well, let's see what we got here. We don't have much here today. We don't have much. Oh, this is sad. Well, it's not sad, it's good. That right there is a child's, I'm familiar with this. That is a child's, this child was born with club feet. And those are things that they use to correct, or it was maybe not club feet, it was something. It was some sort of a birth defect, and that, thank God for that. That my father was born with 2 club feet, and this is back in the 20s. And my father was, I have a photograph of my father in my studio when he was a little boy, 4 years old, in a wheelchair, big wheelchair. And my father was used kind of, well, I wouldn't, quite go so far as to say this, but kind of like this. At that period in time, they tell you the story. My father was born with 2 club feet. He couldn't walk until he was like 4 or something like that, or maybe even older. And so there was a man. My daughter did the research on it. There was a man in that area of the country who would go to my grandparents and say, hey, we've got to take your son and take him to the hospital, And I don't know what my grandparents were thinking. That I don't know what was going on, but they convinced I don't know how you would need convincing. I don't know this. So anyway, they took my dad, and they had to do multiple surgeries on my dad to get him to where he could walk. And my brother was born with a club foot, and the reason when I saw that, I knew immediately what it was, because they put my brother into a cast right away at birth, and they fixed him up, and no problem. And so that was I'm very, very thankful that, I think it was the Shriners Hospital, if I'm not mistaken, that my father went to. But he had to wear special shoes the rest of his life. And anyway, my father, and at some point, I found out about this later, that they wanted to give my father some sort of a ranch or a farm or something like that, and my father says, no, you do something else with that. You've already done enough for me. And so he turned that down, and I'm glad that he turned it down, because I wouldn't have wanted to live back there. But I mean, that shows the thankfulness that my father had for what they had done for him. And so when I saw those little corrective medical orthopedic devices there in the dumpster, it reminded me of that, and I'm very happy that those things are so common that they can just throw them away now, and that someone has a problem, they get to it and fix it right away. And so my father was part of that learning curve for the medical profession, because at that time he had to have multiple surgeries in order for him to be able to walk. And we are now at the dumpster, and I've completed the story, and I'm very thankful that they did so much for my dad, and we're here now.
Morning, Judd. How are you?
Good. Only 3 racks are open.
R2-D2 Pepsi machine. You never can tell what you're going to find at the flea market. Good morning.
You guys can make it such a big deal, Rodney?
Good morning. A palm tree.
Yeah.
You never see a palm tree at the flea market.
No, especially a fake one.
Especially, I mean, it's awesome.
She's in a dealing mood, Rodney.
Well, I wish I would have got here so I could have got that lamp. I need a lamp.
Actually, I have one at my house. It's yay tall. It's actually attractive.
Oh, is it?
I need to wrap this up in something so I don't.
Oh, did you get this?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah, take away
It's a fence.
my shirt.
What? I'm
No,
what?
my come get
Is
'em.
that Fanny Brown?
Oh. It's funny.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, okay.
Mike?
You're welcome. Mike's a gentleman.
That's a sweet little couch, isn't it? For little kids?
At the restaurant.
Yeah, I was gonna
This
get it
guy
cleaned
walks
up.
in.
I haven't yet.
It's a nice one.
Got the
It's heavy.
obituary about
Yeah, it's real
a month
sturdy.
ago.
Thanks.
He goes like this. Lays it down. Goes like this. James Merrill,
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
What do you mean?
Same age as me.
Oh,
Dead.
how old is he?
He says, same age as me. Same name. He goes, it's nice to see you, Jimbo.
Oh, is it same name?
Me.
Same name.
Dead.
Oh, jeez. Well, you've made a nice comeback.
It's crazy. I was right in the middle of a song. Look at me. It's nice to see you.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh,
Well, they say eventually it goes all through one green. They all can actually came from one green. That's just a variation of colors, you know.
Well, they've all been done by these kennel leaders.
Yeah. Did you ever get your animals or tree climbers?
well, there's nothing really too much at the coffee shop, at the flea market today.
He doesn't have a lot of time, but
You know. That is bizarre. Good morning. Good morning, Rocky.
how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Oh, you got this thing all ready to go.
Money?
Huh?
Make a lot of money?
Oh, I'm making piles of money, buddy.
There you go.
Oh. What's that, Rocky? Do I want to buy this? Yeah, I'll buy it.
You don't want to buy it.
No, I do.
Too much money for you.
How much? $5?
For you? $30.
That's good. It's cheap. Last week it was 25, but that's cool. I was out there. There was. I only saw one thing out there, a lamp, and somebody had just bought it. That's why I have
You
to come
was
to the
out there
flea
what?
market. I was just out here,
Uh-huh.
and somebody bought. I can use a lamp, and there was a guy there bought a lamp, a pretty nice one, not bad, for $1.
Okay.
And so that's why you got to get to the flea market early.
Well,
But there's not really much
you
out
missed
there.
out on that then.
Yeah, there'll be another lamp come along.
There?
Oh, let's see. This stuff right here,
Yeah, that's heavier thread. You see that?
Okay, so that Rocky's saying that this thread, hold that thread for me so I can feel it, please. Rocky was saying that this thread, the thicker thread, that what happens is that when you use your sewing machine, so basically that starts to
Jam up the machine.
jam the machine, and some of the particles come off of the thread and jam it up too. Is that right?
Yeah, it falls off.
It falls off and stuff. So if you're going to use a sewing machine, you got to use the right thread. And Rocky was saying that this person came in and they built him had fixed their machine, and that they were using some kind of a weird
sewing machine thread.
so a weird thread that was screwed up their machine within 2 days. So you got to get the right thread. Well, this is the only thing I got at the flea market today. It's a bowl. It's a heavy-duty bowl. And I have a feeling that it's going to go in my kiln today. And we'll see what happens with that. So other than that, there wasn't anything going on at the flea market, really. So, oh well. But I'll turn this thing into something today. Oh, if I don't drop it and break it before I get home. When I used to go to the flea market, I'd come back and stop over here at one of these, these dollar store kind of things and pick up some cookies or some damn thing like that. So that's not good. I lost a lot of weight, which is good. But I actually was under 180 pounds, and that's not. I don't think that's good for me. I think I don't want to. I don't want to be in the 190s, certainly, or anything more than 185 is about as much as I want. But I think that once I start gaining some muscle mass, I'll probably be around 185 or 190, somewhere in there. I'm not sure. I'm big enough to where I can carry that kind of weight, but it's just so much better to be lightweight. My buddy back there, Rocky, he's too big. He's too big. So, I don't know. Anyway, that wasn't much of a. Well, the thing about going to the flea market, you've got to go in order to see what's there. You just can't, you can't not go, because if you don't go, then, that's the time that the perfect thing was there. And we're going to go over here to this other area. I don't come down this road very much, but we're going to go over here because I hope they're there. And see if we can get a story out of this one guy, because he told a really great story. And the reason I didn't put it on video is because my camera was full. So I've got plenty of space. So I don't know if he's here. Maybe he'll tell us that story.
Or get her in trouble.
Get her in trouble.
Yeah.
But would you like to do that?
Well, all right.
Well, I talked him into it. My name's Rodney.
All right, Rodney. I'm Jay.
Jay, nice meeting you.
Glad
Jay, I came to do a video here at Jay's place the other day, and I ran out of time, and he told me the greatest story I've ever heard about a miscommunication with language. So Jay, lay it on us, buddy.
All right. Hold on a minute.
All right, take your time. Take your time, man. I'll just.
Low battery, and if folks can't reach me, I get in trouble with the natives.
Get in trouble with the natives.
Yes. In any case, years ago, whom I fondly referred to my ex-wife Caroline, my mean and wicked woman, was taking care of a gramacita. The Spanish folks in Española liked her because she grew up in Spain, and she spoke beautiful and excellent Spanish. However, the Spanish, she found out, is quite different in New Mexico. The lingo is, even though the words are the same, there's sometimes a variation of the same word. Like one example, like when you're talking about an intestinal blockage, we say tapusque in New Mexico, and in Castilian Spanish it's tapujo. So there's some variations even in the words. But in any case, concerning this story, my wife was called to take care of a bedridden Hispanic lady in Española. She had been in bed for months or weeks at least, and very, very ill, and not expected to survive or not expected to get any better. And so my wife went in to take care of her, and she was called in from the family apparently because they preferred her over other nurses. So she went into the house, and she had a little black bag of all her equipment and needles and whatnot. And so she took the black bag in with her to the bedroom where the Gramacita was bedridden. And she'd go to her bag from time to time, and there was a grandson, a young grandson, probably 6, 7, 8 years old, that kept getting into her bag. And she would tell the boy to stay out of the black bag because there was nothing in there for him to be bothered with, and he shouldn't be in her equipment. Well, he ignored her and kept doing so. Finally, my wife lost patience in dealing with the situation with this child. And in Spain, the word puñetazo means to spank.
Uh-huh.
But in New Mexico, it is a vastly different word, which, to put it nicely, it means, well, what teenage boys do when they don't have a girlfriend and they need to relieve themselves that way. So
That would be like masturbation.
yes, I was trying to avoid that. Rodney. I was trying to be diplomatic because the wicked sinners might take this wrong. In any case, my ex-wife tells the child, "I'm going to spank you" in Spanish. Puñetazos is the word she used. It was such a shocking word. The bedridden grandmother sat up in bed in total shock. And she told her in Spanish, "No, mijita, we don't talk that way here. You don't use that word around here." And my ex-wife, of course, immediately, her face apparently turned red in shock. "What did I say? In Spain, that means to spank somebody." "Oh, no, mijita, that's not what that means here. Don't use that word. Please don't ever use that word again." And I don't know if the child continued to get into her bag or not, but it certainly brought somebody to life who was bedridden. So I thought you would enjoy it.
Oh, it was a great story.
And it was true to life.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
stranger than fiction.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's a lot of words that can get you in trouble in New Mexico. My ex-wife, after that, refused to use her Spanish in New Mexico because it's the variation that can get her in trouble.
Oh, absolutely.
And so after that, no more Spanish.
No more Spanish. That was good. Thanks, man. That's a great story. I mean, that was one of the most fun stories. And when you told it the first time, I was just dying of laughing. It was just so funny. It was so incredible. But my camera was full. So the people who watch my videos, they'll like this because this is a good story.
It is, and it's true to life, which makes it all the more interesting.
Absolutely.
Because my poor ex-wife wanted to crawl under a rock or someplace after she heard that. She would never insinuate anything. She was a fine lady, and she was excellent with people. And,
Yeah.
Except that Castilian Spanish and New Mexico Spanish are worlds apart.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome, Rodney. Yes, maybe generations from now on we'll enjoy the miscommunication. In New
Oh,
Mexico.
absolutely. People are going to, I mean, it's really fascinating because you just never can tell what's going to happen.
No, and she grew up near Toledo, Spain, and so it's very Castilian there, and
Yeah.
very, very different Spanish.
Yeah.
Many of the words are the same,
Right.
and many are not.
And many are not. Well, this is this gentleman's. This is a consignment store.
Yes,
He consigns.
I'm just a manager here. I don't own the place.
Uh-huh.
I'm just the go-between the owner and the vendors.
That's good. That's good.
It's a wonderful place. It's a great blessing for me to be here and help folks sell things and help folks find things. A lot of people come in here asking for specific things, and once in a while I'll coordinate and find out who needs what and where to get it and so forth. And so I help both sides.
Well, what I look for is glass, hand blown. I like mouth blown glass.
Piece now. There are a couple of pieces. One's a rooster, and I'm not sure it's Venetian glass. But Here's one little hand
Oh,
blown.
uh-huh.
And there was another rooster. Oh, here it is.
A little rooster.
Things sometimes walk off and disappear, but
Uh-huh.
that hasn't. That might be from Venice. I don't know for sure, but it's well made. And
It is very nice. How much is this?
It should be marked somewhere, Rodney. Yeah, there it is. $8.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I don't see any chips or cracks in there or anything. So.
It was funny. I found I found this huge fish, and gave it to a buddy of mine. He put it in his. It stayed in his yard. He put it in his yard. Stayed there for many years until he died. I like to find interesting stuff. Well, buddy, I just want to thank you for giving me that story. That was just terrific.
I have learned to state it many times as accurately as possible because it is quite a story and a great memory. And my wife was, even when she told me the first time about it, she was very hesitant and embarrassed. But she was able to tell me after a long time after that happened because she was absolutely floored.
That's great. That's good news.
She brought back somebody that was dying back to life.
Oh, that's good news.
Although in a way, that's a strange way to do it.
He shocked her back into life. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
You're welcome.
Okay,
You're
I'll
so
see you
welcome.
later. Thanks
You
a lot.
bet, Rodney.
I'm Hello Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
I hope I don't get in trouble. Because she might hear about this on YouTube or somewhere, and I could get easily scheduled for a public flogging.
Ooh. Well, yeah, that wouldn't be good.
Oh, I deserve it because I shouldn't be repeating such things. But it is a humorous, true-to-life story.
It's a beautiful story. Hey, man, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
As I'm talking to him here, this gentleman here, remember there was a YouTube video about this black guy in Korea. And he's on a train in Korea, and there's this elderly couple, middle-aged to elderly couple, that say in Korean, would you like to sit down? Well, the word in Korean to sit down had something to do with the N-word in America, and they said that word, and this guy totally freaked out and started yelling. Oh, it's on YouTube, and that was a miscommunication, and they were just trying to give a stranger from a different country a place to sit down.
Being hospitable and,
Be hospitable.
and gracious.
And gracious, absolutely.
Well, when you travel to a different country, you should be a little more cautious not to jump to conclusions because, especially like the Middle East, and Western cultures are in total clash of each other because our thinking is so different here in North America as compared to the Middle East or other countries. You have to go in with gloves. You have to go in very carefully.
Absolutely.
You don't jump to a conclusion. And, what's ironic about that is that I have another wonderful story to tell you about.
Let's hear it.
My sister-in-law, and I mean, I'll use the N-word because I'm quoting, not because I use it very often. Once in a while, I have slipped, but
Yeah.
I'm only human, and of course I blame the non-Spanish side of the family for that kind of behavior. 'Cause I'm a mixed breed, and so I have the unique opportunity to blame either the Hispanic side sometimes, or I can blame the non-Hispanic side and successfully get away with it. But one time, my dear sister-in-law in Abilene, Texas, who worked at Hendricks Hospital in the pediatric section, she's a nurse practitioner now, brilliant, sharp lady who was also very, very good with people, especially the children. Well, anyway, she was sitting in the dark, or away from where the children couldn't see her, but she was watching attentively or listening attentively. One little black boy in one section called out to another little black boy and yelled at him or spoke to him and said, "Hey, you little nigger, what are you doing over there?" And the other little black boy says, "Who are you calling a nigger, nigger?" Back and forth. And my sister-in-law had to do all she could from laughing because here we have two little black boys using the N-word against each other, and here they're so critical about if white folks use it, we get in serious trouble for that.
Yeah.
And yet, here we have two little black boys who could have been 4 or 5 years old at the very most, using that word against each other when it's forbidden to the white folks to use it.
What year was that?
probably back in the 80s.
In the 80s.
Late
Well,
80s,
that's real.
perhaps.
That's not very far back, really.
No, no.
You know, that's 20.
And they were so young. That's what shocked my sister-in-law.
Yeah.
She just found it amazing that they could be so prejudiced against each other. And, you know, because I know some of the lighter-colored dark folks feel superior to the really dark black folks. And so it's amazing that so much prejudice occurs even amongst the races themselves.
Absolutely. You know what? It was really fascinating. I ran into a woman the other day, and she's from Santo Domingo, and she's married to a white guy, and they cannot live on the reservation because nobody white can live on the reservation, and they've been married. They've been married for a long time.
Well, love is a strange thing because I have a house in Albuquerque, and the next door neighbor is she's a Native American. I think her folks were from Jemez Pueblo, and she married a white guy. And I just find it amazing. Maybe it's contradictory. Maybe I'm just too sensitive. Maybe I'm just looking for an excuse to be ornery. But the Native Americans blame the white people for a lot of the problems, and a lot of them are well-founded. But then why marry them? I mean, there's no shortage of Native American men for Native American women, and here they are blaming the white man for most of the problems, and you have to turn around and marry him.
You know what? It was a really interesting thing. Because a friend of mine did a screenplay, not a screenplay, a radio play on what was it? I can't remember. It was about the Spaniards who came in and were, you know, the one that can't, the one that's in, it's above Espanola. You know, they have a museum up there. And they threw out the Spanish. They ended up throwing out the Spanish. And so when they
Are you speaking of the 1680 Pueblo Revolt?
I think I am.
Okay.
I'm not sure. 1680, but
Because that was the only organized Native American against the white man in those days on a large scale that I know.
and they
of.
actually kicked them out. They kicked the Spanish
Throughout
out.
the entire state.
Yeah,
yes.
they kicked it.
ran for their lives down to El Paso.
They got rid of them.
Correct, but in 1690 they reconquered.
But you know, now this is an interesting thing because my friend was telling me. He said that the reason that at that point where they came back, that they had been invited back because the Pueblo people could not put up with the Navajos who raided them unmercifully for, I guess, generations upon generations. Now, did you find that a strange story, or do you think that's true, or have you ever heard of that?
Well, it's called the De Vargas Reconquest. No, I hadn't heard that because they came back, and my understanding is that they reconquered. They just have to take everything back
Oh, okay.
and reclaim what was theirs. But part of that may have been true.
Interesting, because I know that the that one of the things that we think about in this country is that before Columbus came, everything was all hunky dory. It was like a you know, everybody got along and this and that, but there was a tremendous amount of
The nomadic Native Americans, like the Navajos and Comanches and so on, were constantly raiding the Pueblo Indians. They hated each other. 'Cause
Yeah.
one looked down on the other because some were domesticated and the others were nomads. They liked to wander around the entire territory. So, no, it was not hunky-dory.
and it was.
They were killing each other before the white man came in.
You know, it was interesting. It also told me a story about the Comanches came in. The Comanches would go and raid the Pueblos and take women hostage and slaves and all kinds of stuff. And that when they came back, I guess after the Reconquest or whatever that happened, I'm not sure if that was exactly the time period, but that the Comanches had come into Taos where they had where they were trading, and they wanted to trade these Pueblo women that they had captured, these slaves. They wanted to trade them for stuff, but the Spaniards refused to trade because if they said if we start trading with these people for slaves, they'll just go get more slaves and come back and trade them. And so when they told them no, we're not going to trade, that they slit their women's throats and rode off into the distance.
That I hadn't heard.
That's a
Know
fascinating.
nothing about, but-
I should try and do some more research
Yeah,
on that.
we
But my friend who wrote the radio play, which incidentally, when they did the radio play, the Hispanic community was up in arms, and they were going to do the radio show at the, I think it was at the Indian Cultural Center in Albuquerque, and they raised such a stink about it that they had to do the play somewhere else because of the political ramifications of all that. And you know, it was a kind of a big deal. They did the play, and they were trying tooth and nail to keep that thing from being produced. And that's just within the last within the last 10 years. So.
Yeah, well, that I hadn't heard, but
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. But the Spanish were very cruel to the Native Americans anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just a strange thing. Well, thanks for the conversation, man. That was great. I appreciate it very much, and I'll try to do a little bit more research on that and come back and fill you in on that.
Sure, please,
'Cause I-
or direct me to the references so that I can also
Absolutely.
verify it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good, man. Hey, thanks a lot, man.
You're
I
welcome,
appreciate it
Rodney.
very much.
You're
I'll
so
see you.
welcome.
I'll see you later. Okay. I'm Hilla Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye. Well, I'm on my way back home, and I'll be posting that video. See, that guy right there is, I mean, what beautiful stories. And he, you know, we were talking about other things too. So I mean, he's got a really, he's a fascinating guy, and it's someone that I met, and you know, he's got a place in Albuquerque. He doesn't live in Albuquerque. He lives out here, so he doesn't like to live out in Albuquerque anymore. And so it's nice to meet people like that, because he's a very, very nice man. There's a lot of nice people around, and so even though it's not the most wonderful place to live, it's out here it is nice. And see those mountains over there, those big ones? Those are the Sandias, and on the other side of the Sandias is Albuquerque. So I'm gonna go home now. And I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I've been working very, very hard for the last couple of weeks. And I don't have anything to be working on right now. So, I mean, I could clean my house and do all that kind of stuff. So I might make that my goal for next week, but I think I'm probably not going to do much today. Yesterday was a big day for me because I went in and was visiting all my buddies. They were just, you know, the buddies that were just showing up. I actually went there to see my friend that came in late that brought me that little video. That was fun. And it was really a pleasure to see him. I've known him for so many years. That's the guy who gave me the ticket to go to Europe, and that's the guy that took me to Hawaii, and the guy who took me to Mexico on that trip and stuff. So he was a president of a huge travel agency for a long time, and he's a writer now. He writes screenplays, and he was the guy that in that video I was talking about, who did the radio play. He did that play, and it was interesting when he was going through that. When he was going through that situation where the Hispanic population in Albuquerque, the political side of it, where they were pressuring him not to produce that, and pressuring, from what I remember, they even so far as pressured the organization, the Indian Cultural Center or whatever it is, not to produce it, because I think they were pulling some political strings on that. But it just so happens that I went to college for 1 year, and that my buddy in college, my best buddy, one of my best friends at that time when I was going to college, was a guy who his father ran the local newspaper, and he graduated from college. Then he went to law school, became a lawyer, and then he became the head of Associated Press for someplace back in Nebraska. He was the head of the Associated Press, and then he ended up becoming the head of the major newspaper in the state of New Mexico. And so when my friend was having this issue, I called on my buddy, told him what the thing was, and they put a front page story. They did a story and put it on the front page of the newspaper, and that was a big help to get that whole thing. Well, the whole thing was going to happen anyway, but it was good to get the word out about what was going on with that whole situation. So you never can tell who the people are that you're going to meet and what kind of ramifications they're going to. You know, you never can tell who you're going to meet and what people are going to do. I mean, you know, called up, you know, because I had access to him. I called him up and told him what was going on, and voila, front page story. So anyway, I'm going to go home now and post this video, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. Hello, Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye bye. As I was signing off, and that just a while ago when I said that, I've been signing off more in my videos because so there'll be multiple little sign-offs in this video, and the reason I do it is because I think it's important to say goodbye in the video. And sometimes if I just stop the video, then I have to go back and do figure out how to say goodbye in the video, and I'll just say goodbye all the time, and that way I don't have to go back and say that anymore. So I'm not going to say goodbye now because I already said goodbye a bunch of times, and this is just an explanation of saying goodbye. So I'm Hello Rodney. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.